Hello, we have set 3 of the vocabulary study to go through today. The roots are terr, terra, geo, port, and miss, mit. Vocabulary and comprehension are related. Having a better vocabulary tends to help reading comprehension. Now, that is true for whether you struggle with reading or whether you're amazing at reading. Vocabulary helps your comprehension. Even if you have great comprehension, but you're missing key vocabulary terms, you're not getting the full depth of what you're reading. Keep that in mind as we go through our words. How can knowing this vocabulary help my reading? The first root, or in this case set of roots, is terr, terra, geo, which means land or earth. The beginning term for set 3 is geography. It is a noun that means the study and science of the earth, including the physical, biological, atmospheric, air, and cultural or human features present. It is not just mountains and sea, although you will see in the example sentence that it is used as such. Peru has a diverse geography that is generally categorized into 3 categories: the Andes, the coast, and the Amazon rainforest. Remember, it can still include humans, it can still include culture, it can still include how things work and how things live, it can include the sky, the ground, everything in between. The second term is geology. It is the study of Earth or another celestial body's physical features, like their rocks and crust, and the scientific processes that have shaped and altered these features. How have they changed over time? And geology is a noun. The example sentence is one reason that the moon's geology is quite different from that of Earth's is because it lacks an atmosphere that would allow for weather and in turn erosion due to weathering. In that sentence, it talks about rocks and crust, differences between the moon and the earth, plus weathering, which would be the change of the rocks and crust over time. Next, we have the word Mediterranean. It is both a noun and an adjective. The noun refers to the Mediterranean Sea. The Nile empties into the Mediterranean. That picture in the upper right-hand corner is off the coast of Greece. Mediterranean can also be an adjective. We're dealing with or located near the Mediterranean Sea. Vegetables and fish are 2 important staples in the Mediterranean cuisine. So right around the sea, right around the Mediterranean Sea, vegetables and fish are important. Next we have subterranean. Notice how only a little bit of the word has changed, yet the meaning is entirely different. It is an adjective that means occurring underground or secret or hidden. Look at that double meaning. So the example is the subterranean hideout has been created to withstand the strongest of tornadoes. Think of Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz hiding underground, or she would have been hiding underground if she hadn't got hit in the head. Next we have territory. It is a noun that means a region of land belonging to someone, or a geographic area belonging to a ruler, country, or state. So it could just be in general, such as a dog's territory, a lion's territory, or it could actually be political and based in power and authority. The example sentence is, explorers use the idea of manifest destiny to acquire new territory, even though this land already belonged to Native Americans. And if you have not yet already, you will learn about manifest destiny in social studies, another connection between vocabulary and other subjects. And we're already at the second root, which is port. Port means carry. The term is transport. It can be a verb or a noun. When transport is a verb, it means to carry or transfer something from one place to another. This book is so mesmerizing that it will transport you into another world. Sign of a great book, by the way. When transport is a noun, it means something that moves people or goods, often military-based. So you're not often going to use transport if it's not based in the military sense. If it's just something outside of the military, it can sound a bit awkward. I arranged hospital transport for the sick soldiers. The next word is portable. It is an adjective that means capable of and or easily moved. And you can see the picture shows the phones and iPads and laptops, which are all nowadays portable. The example sentence is, the couple wanted a portable tiny house so that they could always move to new states and experience new adventures. Next up is import, and it's a term you may have heard in social studies, civics, or history. Import is a verb that means to bring goods or services in from another region. Many countries import food from other countries. It is also a noun, which means a good or service from another region, or the full importance or meaning of something. The example is, it took several minutes for the import of the doctor's words to become clear. So basically, this person got a lot of information, but it took a while for that whole big thing of information to be understood, for the importance and the meaning to come to light. Next, the opposite of import, export. It is also a verb and a noun. So the verb of export is to send goods or services to another region. Australia, Brazil, and South Africa export the highest value of iron ore per year. When export is a noun, it means a good or service sent or sold to another region. The example is, the export of beaver fur increased in the 1600s when felt hats became popular. Export is relating to all of that beaver fur. You could do import in this sentence as well. The import of beaver fur increased in the 1600s when felt hats became popular. That just gives you an example of import used as a noun. Next, we have rapport. It is also a noun. It means a personal connection or friendship that allows for listening, trust, and understanding. It is important to have a good rapport with your coworkers so that you can lean on each other for support and growth. Our last roots are miss and mit. They mean send. The term transmit is a verb that means to send, pass on, or give something. It also means to broadcast. The example is, by speaking to people of other cultures, we transmit our ideas to them and they do the same for us. It's the sharing, the passing on. It is sending wavelengths in a broadcast. It is sending information. It does not have to be a literal send, just a communication, a back and forth. Next, the term is intermittent. It is an adjective that means occurring in a way that is irregular and lacking continuity. The intermittent cell connection made it very difficult for sailors to request medical assistance out at sea. It's pausing. It's not just smooth. The third word in this grouping is permit or permit, depending on the meaning. When permit is a noun, it is an official document granting permission to do something. Betty needed a permit to add a fence to her property. Think of it as sending in a request, getting back the permission. It is also a verb, and when this word is a verb, it is pronounced permit. To allow someone to do something, to give permission. The principal does not permit cell phones in class. The next term is omit. It is a verb that means to exclude or neglect, whether intentionally or unintentionally. In other words, information was left out on purpose or by accident. It was still left out. Madison did not know the full story because her friend chose to omit certain details. Now here's your real-world connection. Lying by omission, which means you purposefully left out information, is a crime. You are not allowed to do it in the courtroom. The last term for set 3 is remiss. It is an adjective that means lacking care or thought, showing negligence. And showing negligence would be the picture in the upper right-hand corner. The plastic never made it into the garbage can, but nobody bothered to pick it up. They neglected it. The example sentence is, Nate was remiss in his studies, and it was reflected in his poor scores. Nate lacked care and thought about his studies. And now for a study tip. Reading over your notes is not a study format. It helps, and I encourage you to do so, but just reading over the notes isn't really helping you study. You're just passively reading it like, oh, okay, that's what it means. What happens when the test or the quiz doesn't match your notes exactly? What happens when you don't have those cue words that are all the same every time that you're reading that actually help bring things to memory? That those same cue words aren't on the test. You need to mix it up. Quiz yourself. Ask questions. Instead of just doing, okay, this is the term, I'm going to give the definition, say, okay, this is the definition, now I'm going to give the term. Switch up how you study. Don't just read. Be an active studier.